oh boy, all of these Yoshika Miyako Reds on my lawn. You know, I always get irritable every time I'm walking on the highway, or walking under the highway, I should say, because there's just so many cars that are driving, like that one, literally out from under you, cars are driving, and it's a jarring experience to say the least, because you have to deal with the fact that there's this loud ass noise coming from, you know, what sounds like it's under you. Like, you shouldn't be walking under something that's making a lot of noise. It just doesn't feel right. And I don't like that. I don't like that about walking above the highway, but it's pretty cold out here today. I'm recording this on February 14th. It's Valentine's Day, Love Day, whatever you want to call it. I did 2 streams today. I was trying to only do one, but they cut off the original stream, and so I ended up having to do 2 because they cut it off. And now I'm just walking through, trying to get to town now. But when I was doing that stream, I read a post on Oh Boy Chan. I just randomly, I pulled up Pale Moon, and I started, you know, tabbing through different things. I started tabbing through different things I had opened. Opened as bookmarks on the computer. And I opened up this thread on the Hiki board of Oh Boy Chan. And I was reading through, and apparently, you know, there were still conversations about me going on. I didn't even know, people were still talking about me on there. I thought the thread was dead. Here, let me put this phone up quick. I gotta put my other glove on. There was this thread about me on there, and I thought, you know, I really thought that thread was dead, that, like, no new posts had been made whatsoever, that it was completely dead. But I go on there, and I find, you know, this big post of a guy who was, you know, worried about me, worried about the situation that I was in, and it was dated to January the 21st of this year. So I know it's not entirely too recent, but it was related to what was going on at the time, is that he had said that my videos became really dark, and he was worried about me because of it. And I just want to reassure everyone that the dark videos that I produce, the videos that have a darker feeling to them, they aren't necessarily a cry for help. I think they're actually the opposite. Is that when I make videos that have a very concerning character to them, that might feel very depressing to watch, the reason that content is the way it is because I'm getting the feeling out. Is that after the video is made, I pretty much almost always feel better after it's done. Is that in the moment, you know, the video is like an edgy reflection of all it is that I'm feeling at the time, but after the video is recorded, I feel better. There's pretty much nothing to worry about. The camera is still filming. It's been filming this whole time. I'm making my way down the street somewhere where I can record again, but it's taking forever to do so. It would appear we're finally in the sun again. We finally made it back into the sun after all this time. It feels nice. It's at least warmer, I think. It's not too bad. Not too bad out here being in the sun. It was very, very cold as I walked through here earlier, appears there's a trash bag up here. I mistaked it for someone's backpack. What's in here? A drink? Oh, it's like a... Is this a whiskey bottle? Has someone left their booze here, I guess. It's kind of sad. Yeah, I'm glad to be out here in the sun, because the rays of sun make you warmer as you're walking up. And you don't have as much to complain about when you're in the sun in this kind of weather. It's cold, but it's not nearly as bad. So we don't have as much to worry about, I don't think. Yeah, see, I'm already starting to warm up just by sitting here. I guess the point I was getting to earlier was that people, they really don't have much to worry about with me. You know, like, I don't really partake in particularly risky behavior, or if I do, I always do it in the most safe way that I can. As dark as certain videos I may make are, they're not necessarily a dangerous kind of darkness. You know, I may want to talk about offing myself or something like that, but you know I'm not going to do it. I've tried to, but I'm not going to. And I have a specific rule in place about this, is that I say that 25 is the cutoff point. That by 25 years of age, I can essentially be allowed to do whatever I want, and maybe off myself at that point. But the thing you got to think about there is that's a big cutoff point. I'm almost 18 now, and that's 7 years between one another. I could have a whole new perspective in 7 years from now. I could think completely differently. And so, you know, you gotta put that into perspective, that, like, the kind of things that would lead one to feeling that way may change very easily. When you have a specific rule in place that says that there's enough time allotted that those things can change, then I think you're in a pretty decent position. You know, I don't have a rule that says I'm going to off myself by 19 or something, you know. Or it's not even about offing myself, it's about having the ability to. I'm not giving myself the ability to until then, which I think is a pretty important caveat to consider. And moreover, I don't think I'm the kind of person that should be worried about. Like, you saw the posts in the Obaway thread that had all of the people saying, you know, Star is this crazy psychopath who's, you know, a terrible person and doesn't deserve love and these kind of things. And I mean, that's all fine and good. I've always been told that stuff. But, like, they sort of have a point there, but not in the way that they're articulating it. Like, I don't think I'm the kind of person that should be cared about, because I'm going to make my own decisions regardless. And because of those decisions, a lot of people are probably going to be disappointed. And I'm not the kind of person that can easily be swayed by what other people tell me to do. I just don't tend to do that very often. And so the idea of putting your own emotional resolve into me, making yourself feel worse because of the things I do, or the things I may feel, it's not a good idea. Because I'm a broken person, man. I don't... There's not much here. I'm just a guy who shares himself on the internet. Like, the idea of worrying about someone like me, like, it feels like a lost cause. Like, there's nothing here that wasn't already doomed to fail. And, I don't have an opiate addiction anymore by any means. The addiction stopped as soon as I ran out of pills, so you guys don't have to worry about that. But it feels like Man, these school buses really are a-going today, aren't they? But it feels like sitting out here now, life is just a walk. Or you can choose to end the walk at any time. And that's part of what makes it nice, is that you always have the power to stop. Is that if there's one thing you have control over, even if you don't have control over anything else, you can control that. You can control your own life, whether or not it keeps going or not. I find that to be a source of comfort. Other people don't, but I do. And I don't think there's anything to worry about. I'm ultimately going to have the same perspective that I did before. But it feels as if I'm obligated to say something about the statements that guy made, because he did seem quite upset. And maybe, I need to present myself differently in certain videos, or clarify a few more things to show that it isn't quite as dramatic as someone might seem. But I don't really see the point in adding a disclaimer that I feel better after the video is made. And I don't really see the point in saying that I'm not going anywhere all the time. It feels like anything that I go through, I'm gonna be able to get over. Like, I've gotten over so much shit. I've had so many terrible experiences that the idea of my life ending now doesn't make any sense to me. Because it feels like I've already gotten through the worst of most things. And things that are, coming for me in the future, like, New England homelessness or whatever, those things are just other adventures. All of it is these things are just experiences that we deal with. They aren't so overwhelming that, we have to off ourselves every moment that something bad happens. You may want to, and you can express that feeling that you want to. You've wanted to for a long time. But it is ultimately a transient experience. It's something it's not going to stay the same. As long as I'm here, it has the potential to morph into something beautiful. The other day I came out here in the rain, and that rain was beautiful. It was nice. I liked seeing it. And I thought, this rain right here is worth living for. I always think that when I see pretty weather. There's so many things, so many beautiful things we can see and find that give our lives some sort of comfort. And there isn't so much of a reason to worry. I don't see one, because ultimately my perspective is based in the idea that none of this matters, and that can seem like a really scary thing to some people, that, I could end my life at any time, or I could die at any time, but I'm not afraid of that, and I don't think you should be afraid of that either. Is that at the end of the day, it's just one life. It's just one life that's going away. There's billions of them around the world. It's not that significant. And part of the beauty of being able to see that is also being able to appreciate the little things more. At least I think so.